I was picking up the rough draft from one of my clients who's getting their will prepared from our office. And we were just having a conversation about the difference between a trust and a will, because it seems like that's like the most popular topic now. Some people are believing that you should have a trust instead of a will, and most people want to know which one is best. Now, I compare that to term life and whole life, where I think there's no best. You just need to have enough coverage to take care of your loved ones. It's the same for a trust and a will. I give the same kind of comparison. If you are doing a trust, for example, you need to have things that you're going to put into the trust, because the trust is like its own entity. So if you have a house and now you're going to transfer the house out of your name into the trust, so that you could just pass the trust along if something was to happen to you and avoid probate court, that's perfect for a trust. But if you're not going to transfer your house out of your name and put it into the trust name, then a will works. You know, you'll just put your last wishes into the will, and you'll just write out your instructions on who you want the house to be given to at a later date. So the trust would be if you're taking the house out of your name and putting it into the trust so you can just pass it along without probate court. The will would be if you don't want to take it out of your name and you just want to write the instructions on the will of who you want the house to go to, you can do that. So same thing. If you have a business, you create the trust, you can put your business into the trust and let the trust run the business, so that if something happens to you, now the trust can just be passed along to your heirs without having to go through all of the other paperwork or all of the other court process, probate court, things like that. You can just pass the trust along because it's its own separate entity. But the same, if you have a will, you could just say, okay, I want my son or my daughter to take over the business and take over the business accounts and things like that. You can instruct them to do that on a will. So if you want to put the business into a trust and make the trust the owner of the business, you can do that. You would need a trust. But if you just want to transfer the business to your kids, you'll just use a will. If you have a bank account, for example, and you don't have your children down as beneficiary or your husband down as beneficiary of who you want to take over the account, in that situation, if it's a personal account, the best thing in that situation would be a will if you don't have them listed as beneficiary, because you can't put you wouldn't most likely put the personal account into a trust to make the trust own the personal account. Most people don't do that. So at least if you have a will that instructs the bank that, okay, this person is going to take over the account, or this person is who I want to receive the money out of the account. So there's no best, trust or will. It just basically depends on your circumstances and what is it that you're looking to do. If you're transferring it out of your name into an entity's name, you want to go with a trust. But if you don't want to transfer anything out of your name, you're going to go with a will. Have a great day on purpose.